Welcome to DataPencil. Hello everyone, welcome to our SQL AI course, which is absolutely free. You only have to follow a process. This process includes a proficiency test after 3 modules that you have to pass. Apart from this, there is question round on daily basis. The questions will be asked in the video itself and you have to give the answers in the comment section. And at last, you have to complete project part. All the details you will get in our website. Everything is mentioned there. And before starting the course, the registration is mandatory. So you will have to register first. Then you will be counted as the candidate for this course. And after the completion, you will get your certificate. Okay, fine. So today is our day 2. Yesterday we have covered module 0, in which we have discussed the basics, the surface level information about data, databases and SQL. Today we will discuss in depth. So it is our module 1's day, and here we will discuss how the real world data looks like, what are the problems that we face while dealing with the data, which means there is a raw data and a clean data. We will understand everything one by one. Then how to create database, what is database basically, that also we will discuss in depth so that you will get a clear understanding. Because being a non-technical person, if we don't belong to CS or IT or data science department, then it is somewhere it is difficult for us to understand in the initial time, but later on it is not that difficult. So I know what you guys are feeling currently if you are especially belong to this non-technical background. So I will discuss each and everything from the zero so that you won't face any problem. Okay, then after that we will understand what are tables, how to create tables, how these tables are interconnected with each other, what are the relationships between these tables, everything one by one. But before that, as I told that I will work on MySQL Workbench. So let's quickly see how to install MySQL Workbench on your laptop, on your desktop. Then after that, we will come back and complete this module. To install MySQL Workbench, write MySQL and then enter. At the first, you can see it is written MySQL. Click over there. Okay, now come to the download section. Here it is written download. Now come down. Here you can see it is written MySQL community downloads at last. Yeah. So when you will click over this, then you can see at the last MySQL installer for Windows. Okay, you will have to click over this now. Once you will click, you can see here 2 options you have. We will download this second one, which is 558.3 MB. Okay, now click over this download option. After clicking the download, here you can see it is written no thanks. Okay, just start my download. We will click over this. And here you can see your download is started. It will take some time. Now we will move to the path where it is stored. So here we can see, we will click over this MySQL installer community. Now the installation has started. So once the processing will over, let's wait. Okay, now it's done. Now you can see this window. Here it is written server only, client only. So we will click over this custom. Then next, now you can see 3 options. So we will drag one by one. So first one, we will drag this MySQL server. Inside this, we have MySQL server 8.044 this. Okay. Now the second one is in the applications. So we will drag this one, MySQL Workbench, and for the dragging purpose we will use this arrow button which is at the first. Now MySQL shell we will drag, and after dragging all these 3 things we will click on the next button. Now we will click on this execute button, and the processing has been started. Let's wait for some time. And once it's done, this window will appear. So here everything will be as it is. The port is 3306. Now we will click on the next button again. and then the authentication method will appear. So here it is written, use a strong password, and then we will again do next, and we will write our MySQL root password. Keep it safely because it will be needed later. After setting the password, click again next, and then again next. Now yes, grant full access, and then press the next button again. Now click on this execute button. Let it get complete. Now click on this finish, and it's done now. Now from the start button, search MySQL Workbench. Click on that, and here you will see the window of MySQL Workbench. Click on this local existence and enter your password here that you have set. So this is the workplace where we will work. So let me quickly create one database just for the demo. I will explain it in very brief, nothing to worry. So I've created this DataPencil database and run it. Here you can see administration written, and here it is schema. So I will click on this schemas button, and after refreshing you will see the DataPencil is appeared. This is the database that we have just created. Now I'm creating one more. Create database. Suppose it is Kalyani. Okay. Now after running it, we can see that the Kalyani named database is also created. Abhi I will tell each and everything in very detail. Don't worry. What is this? What I am doing basically. Okay. So this is how can we install MySQL Workbench. Now, before proceeding further, I want to tell something very important, that firstly, we will build a strong foundation in basic SQL. We will firstly learn the basics, because without knowing the ABCD, we cannot even cheat smartly. Jumping directly to AI without basics is like visiting America without knowing English language, right? Whatever tools we use, we must have command over the subject. Otherwise, system will fail. AI is here to help us, and we will learn how to use it wisely, but with our brain active. Even you will, whenever you want to ask, you can ask the ChatGPT also. It clearly says that it is not 100% correct. In the office, if your manager asks a question, you are responsible for the answer, not ChatGPT, not Microsoft Copilot. So think of AI as a helper only, not someone you hand over the keys of your house to use it fully, right? It's your house, your responsibility. AI is only there to assist, not to live your life for you. All right, now let's begin with this module, which is our module 1. And first of all, let's understand what is raw data. This is very interesting thing. If you are absolutely beginner, then I can understand. You just don't know how data looks like. What is basically data? Okay, so data is something, whatever exists in this world. Okay, if there is a name, then you can call it a data. If there is a city, you can call it a data. In a very easy words, every information you mention in your copy, in your register, that is a data. Okay, but when we talk about specifically data analytics field, then whatever we register in our tables, that will be counted as data. So here you can see a table in front of you. This is the table, as you can see. Okay, from today, these tables will be called as data. Okay, now what this data actually is. So in this data, we might have IDs. IDs can be related to any entity, student ID, employee ID, or anybody else's ID. That will be counted as data. Anybody's name, this is a data. Anybody's city, it is a data. Phone number is a data. Joining date is a data. Okay, so this is just a sample. So if you are working in a company, okay, whatever thing is written, okay, whatever thing is written inside a file, that will be a data. Okay, this is a data, but being an analyst, being an data analyst or an data scientist, we should correctly we should basically know how to fetch a correct data that is useful for us. Okay, rest is just a garbage. Okay, for a data scientist, for a data analyst, everything we cannot consider. We have to basically fetch a real data, okay, which is a genuine data, and then after that we will work on that data only. So how to separate the garbage part with the real genuine thing? At the very first we have to deal with this, okay, because once you join a company as a data analyst, the data that you receive will be absolute garbage. The data that you will receive will be absolute garbage. You have to convert it into a meaningful asset. Okay, you have to convert your data into a meaningful asset. How can you convert that? We will see. Why I am calling this data a garbage, that we will see. So I have a sample data in front of you. Okay, so here you can see a table in front of you. Okay, this table consists of rows and columns. There are total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and one heading row, and then you can see total 5 columns. Correct? Now let's see why I was calling the data garbage. What kind of data is a garbage for us? So let's go one by one. So here you can see in the name, okay, this name, first one is saying capital R, second one is saying small r, okay, Ria. Although both names are same, but there is no standardization, correct? Fine. So we have to convert these names in a proper standard form. Okay, what is the proper standard form? That the first letter should be in the capital, right? Now come to this column, second column, third column. In third column you can see small d, capital D, then the total different spelling of Delhi, right? So there is Delhi, Delhi, right? So this data will not work for us, because whenever you will do the analysis part, you will see here 3 different cities, city 1, city 2, city 3, but in actual they are actually a one single city, right? Similarly here also Mumbai, and here small m, right? Now again come back to this name column. In this name column you can see a null value, null. It is written null, means nothing is here. So how can any student contain null value? Every student must have their name, right? No student will come without name. नामकरण तो पहले ही हो जाता है, correct? So this is not a useful information. Now come to this phone number, again here also null. This is also not a useful information. Then the very important column, date column, the joining date they are saying, the joining date, but what type of date they are telling? Somewhere they are saying about the about the month first, okay, somewhere they are telling about the year first, somewhere they are telling again about the month first, somewhere they are using the slash, again they are using hyphen, somewhere they are using this format. So every row contains a different format, which is absolutely wrong. We have to convert all these dates into a single format, okay? And in SQL the format will be YYYMMDD. This is the format, okay? So we can see that it is a data format inconsistency. Now before proceeding, when we become a data analyst after studying so hard, then after that our 80% of the work will be related to the cleaning of the data. Cleaning means this thing only, to standardize the data, okay? Now see the cleaner version of this raw data, or this garbage data, or this messy data. So let's have a look at our clean data. So here you can see the real data is way different than this, and later on that you also will see. So first of all, here you can see the name is perfectly in the standard form. The capital letter, the first letter is, initial letter is capitalized. Then city as well, everything is capitalized. That now we can consider it as a single city. How to do this in the SQL? How we standardize our data? Everything we will learn one by one, step by step. Then you can see that, ma'am, null is still here. Okay, so these things are depends on your manager, depends on your client, depends on the data owner. जिनका data आप clean कर रहे हो, the data of the person you are cleaning, it depends on that person. Whether whatever they will instruct you, you will have to follow that. Especially for these null datas where the values are missing, they will tell you what you will have to put. Okay, and after that you can do your analysis part. So for this dummy data, the manager said that keep the null as it is. So I've kept the null as null. Okay, for this time you have to assume it. Later on we will see what else we can do. How we can replace this null value, or what we will do with this null value. Fine. Now the join date also, it is standardized. Here you can see the format is YYYMMDD, right? Okay, so here this is our clean data. As I told you that our 80% of job is about the cleaning part. Okay, 80% of our job is about the cleaning part. Whatever data we will get, that will be a very messy, very untidy data that firstly we have to clean. And cleaning means what? Cleaning means doing all these things. Okay, now we should know that where we are going to store our data, this unclean data, the clean data, whatever data, where we basically store in companies. So there is a database where we store such data. Okay, this data just that we have seen, it is about the student information, correct? There can be information related to finance, any banking system related information, or that information can be related to the employee, or it can be related to some online food ordering system. It can be related to customer. Anything, whatever data we have to store it inside the database. Okay, inside the database. In which form? So we store the data in the database in a tabular form. Table means we all know row and column. We can store the data in non-tabular form also. But this time, for this whole course, for this class, I am specifically talking about SQL. So I am talking about relational database. Relational database means the database that contains tabular data only. Relational data means the database that contains tabular data only. Okay, else we can also store in non-tabular format as well. But if we are studying about SQL, then we have to keep this in our mind that the data will always be in tabular format. It means we are talking about relational database. Okay, so we store the data in a tabular form. Now let's understand what is database. So here we will use one analogy. In this analogy, we will assume the cupboard as a database. Here cupboard is equal to database. All right. Inside this cupboard, there are shelves. Okay, there are shelves. Suppose this is a cupboard of your house. Okay, this is a cupboard of your house, and this cupboard has so many shelves. Okay, in the first shelf you kept the files. In first shelf you kept the file of certificates. Whatever certificate you have till date, you kept all those certificates in the shelf 1, right? Now in the shelf 2 you kept your house documents of your house. Okay, in the second shelf you have kept the file of the documents related to your house. In the first shelf there is a file of your certificate. In the second shelf there is a file of your house related documents. Okay, it can be your house agreement, or your electricity bill, whatever. Now come to the shelf 3. So in shelf 3 there is a file related to your expenses. Okay, so let's consider these 3 shelves only. It is enough for you to understand. Now what I told, this cupboard is a database. Okay, this cupboard is a database. Now in this cupboard there are several files in shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3. Okay, so these shelves are called as tables. How many tables we have in this cupboard? Table 1, table 2, table 3, if one more, then table 4. So we have total 4 tables in this cupboard. We have total 4 tables in this database. Okay. Now inside this file, inside this table, there is a system of row and column. Simple. Now row contains some specific values. So each row might have a, like if we talk about the certificate shelf, then first row may be related to 10th certificate, second row related to 12th certificate, third row related to BTech certificate, like that. Correct? So each row contains some value. Now each column contains some characteristic or some attribute. So in this 10th certificate there are some characters like what? It can be what year you have passed. Okay, what else? What was your passing marks, percentage? What else? It can be your board name. So database, inside this database there are so many tables. Inside this table there are so many rows and columns. Okay, why do we need this database? Why don't we put this column here and there? Why? So what happened, without cupboard your all files will get mixed with your own files, with your neighbor files. Okay, if there is no cupboard, there is no boundary. Basically we must have some boundaries, right? In personal life as well, we must have some boundaries. Without boundary there is no self-respect. Without boundary there is nothing. So always remember this is off topic, but always keep your self-respect, always keep your boundary. Boundary is very important. So this database is simply like a boundary. Okay, inside this database few tables will be there only related to that particular need. Okay, and inside this table there will be few rows and columns that are needed. Correct? Okay, so without this database what will happen? Everything will be mixed. Okay, your files will mix, your neighbor's file might mix, tables will mix basically. So basically one database is telling one system. One database means what? One database means one system. I hope it is clear, guys. Let me repeat it one more time in a very quicker way. So database is like a cupboard. Inside cupboard there are shelves. So these shelves are like tables. Inside these shelves there are several files, and these files are working as the row and column. This is it. And inside these files there are row and columns that contains the value and the attributes. Okay, so database helps us in organization. By keeping the database we can organize our system. It is important from the security point of view. Different departments cannot access their data. One department, one database, so that they cannot access the other department's data. It is important from the security point of view. Now access control, the same thing, and then the performance also increase. When everything is not mixed, then it is easy for us to find the file. It is, if you have organized thing in clear way, then you can easily find the certificate of your class 10th. If everything is mixed, then you cannot easily find, right? So the same way, when we deal with the data, then it affects the performance as well. Maintenance is also easy by using this system. So now we know the importance of database. We know the picture, how database look like. So first of all, whenever we work on any project, we work on any new data, right now as a learner, firstly we will create a different database. So whatever project we will do together, we will create a different database if we are dealing with different data sets. Okay, then after that, whenever you will enter in any, that company will guide you how you will have to deal with the data and with the database. Okay, now let's see how can we create a database. So now let's see in MySQL Workbench how we create one database. So for creating a database, SQL is basically a very friendly language. Like we know the English, in the same way we can learn SQL also. So for creating a database, we have to simply write few words of English, and those words are basically we have to write create. Okay, we have to write create, and then we have to write database, and then we have to give the name of the database. And at the end, we simply have to provide this semicolon. This is it. When you will write these words, create, database, and the name of your database, and then this semicolon, your database is done. You have created your database. It's that simple. Now let's open MySQL Workbench so that I can show you. So I am going to create a database, DataPencil. The name of our database will be DataPencil. In this DataPencil database, we will keep all the files on the datas of DataPencil company. Correct. So how can we create? We have to write create database, and then the name of this database, DataPencil, and at the end we can write DB, which means database. Fine. And then the semicolon. Now what we have to do here, you can see the run button. Okay, how I have opened this space. So to open this space, you basically have to enter here the schemas. You can see it is written here, it is written administration. Okay, so we have to click on this schemas. Then after that, come to this file part, file, edit, view, query, it is written. Then just below this file, you can see this plus icon. When you will click on this plus icon, your files will open. Here you can simply work. Okay, and in the left side, the schema, it is written. Here all your database will be shown. Okay, all your databases, all your tables, everything will be shown here. See, fine. So this major thing, this DP where it is written, it is a database. It is a symbol of database. See, this is a symbol of database. Now, so we were creating one database, and for that we have written create database, which is DataPencil DP. Now select it, and to run it, we will simply press this icon, which is this electricity icon. Okay, now wait a second. I am not able to show you the full screen, but wait a second. Here you can see it is written in the action output that create database pencil DP, one row affected, and it is a green tick at last. Here green tick, it means your database is created. How can you see whether it is created or not? For that you will simply have to click on this refresh button, and then you can see your DataPencil underscore DB is written here. It means you have created your database. Okay, now in this database, you can see the picture, the symbol. Now in this database, you can create so many tables, and then you can do the analysis part that we will see step by step. Okay. Now, so now you know how to create a database. Now this database is incomplete without the tables. We must have the shelves in it, means we must have some tables in it. So let's understand what the tables are and how to deal with the tables. Okay, so here you can see I have arranged few tables. First is a student table, then course table, and then the enrollment table. So let's imagine that you are working in a school office. Okay, you are working in a school office. You need to keep records of whom? Records of students, courses, and enrollments, as well as teachers. you have to keep the records of students, courses, enrollments and the teachers. Okay, will you keep everything in one register? Will you keep everything in one register, in a single register? Will you keep the details of a student, of the course, of the enrollments and of the teachers? No, definitely not. So you will, what you will do, like in the school, you have separate register for the geography, for this polity, right? Yeah, okay. So separate register for the history, separate register for the mathematics. The same way here you will create different register, means different tables for particular subject, means one clear purpose. All right, now this is the way by which you will get your data. Okay, you will get the data related to the student, you will get the data related to the course. Now when you have to create this table, create all these tables inside MySQL workbench, because you have to analyze them further, how will you create? So there are few points that you have to keep in your mind before creating the table. What are those points? Let's discuss them first. So first point is the column. Suppose you have to firstly create the data table of student. So you have to pay attention towards the name of the columns. Okay, you must know the columns that you need. Then after that, what is the data type of these columns? Data types of these columns. What is this data type I am talking about? क्या है ये data types? So data type is nothing. For now, you can simply understand whether it's a text data, it is a numeric data, or it is a symbolic data, or it is in a file format, image format. Such things are simply called as data types. For now, just keep this in your mind. About the data types, there are so many data types. Those data types we will discuss in next class. Okay, so we have to firstly look for the column and then look for the data type of this particular column. Like the column is suppose student ID. What is the data type? It is a numeric data type. Numeric means we say simply integer. All right. Second is name column. Column is name. Name means we are talking about text data type. Okay, and the data type which is in the text format, we simply say it as char or varchar. Char and varchar, there is a difference that we will discuss in next class. Now column is done, their data types are done. What else we should take care? So we should take care about the relationship. What type of relationship? It means the identity of this column and its relationship with other tables. Suppose course table, enrollment table. What is the identity of the particular column? If we are talking about student ID, what is the identity? Iska kya vajood hai? What is the identity of this column? If we are entering name column, then what is the identity? Okay, we have to mention that also. Today's module, I have told you about primary key and foreign key. Remember? So this is the identity. Whatever column we are taking, this is a primary or it is a foreign. What column it is, what type of identity it contains, we have to see this also. And at last, the columns relationship with others table as well. Okay, by looking at all these things, the columns, their data types, their identities, their relationship, the columns relationships with other tables, we can create our one table. Okay, why I am saying all these things? See, you can see we have total 4 tables. Okay, so when a student starts to create the table inside MySQL workbench, what they face, they firstly suppose started to create a student table. Okay, then they create course table. So the problem that they face is course table they are not able to create. They weren't able to create the course table. Why? Because they haven't seen what is the relationship of these course tables columns with other tables columns. Okay. Suppose after that they have simply created enrollment table. this table will also not created. Why? Because there is a sequence that they have to follow and they are not following the sequence. Just after the student table, what table we have to create? Okay, suppose after student table we actually have to create enrollment table, and after enrollment table we have to create this course table. How do we know about this sequence? If we do not create the tables in this particular sequence, then we will fail. We actually will not able to create the tables part, right? Now the question comes, how do we know what is the correct sequence? So this solution will be provided by this ER diagram. Now what is this ER diagram? Okay, without getting confused, let's understand what we have covered till yet. So firstly, we have seen what is raw data, what is clean data. Okay, we have cleaned the data. There is no null value. There is a specific date formats. Everything is in a proper right manner. Then we understood how to create database. What is database, right? Now inside this database, there are tables. See, there are several tables that we have to put. Okay, so how to create these tables in the MySQL workbench? We must know the ER diagram. We must know the sequence in which we are going to create the table. Okay, and the sequence will be provided by ER diagram. Now, how I have created this ER diagram? You can also create. Simply you have to take one table. Suppose you have taken this student table. In this student table, there are columns. The column names are student ID, name and the city. Okay, so you simply have created a box. Student ID, name and the city. Here it is written and it is age. Okay, so let me write here city. Fine. Then the course table. In the course table, course ID, course name and the duration. So course ID, course name and the duration. Okay. Then the enrollment table. Student ID, course ID and the enrollment date. Student ID, course ID and the enrollment date. Then in the teachers table, teacher ID, teacher name, subject. What else is missing? Let's check. Okay, everything is there. Teacher ID, teacher name and the subject. Now, why we are studying this? Because we want to see the correct sequence, how we are going to create our table. Okay, so now we have discussed about the primary key and foreign key. So here this thing will come, the role of primary key and foreign key. Firstly, we have to see. Okay, just listen carefully guys, step by step. It is very easy, trust me, very easy. What you will have to do after completing this video, tomorrow come back and see it in a forward mode. Okay, then everything will be more clear. It is simply very easy. See, why I am talking about primary key and foreign key, you will understand it in a few minutes. See, the student ID, it is a primary key for this table. It is a primary key for this table. Why primary key? Because it is a unique. It gives the identity to the students and it is a unique. This thing cannot be repeated. Two students cannot contain one ID. Every student, each student have their different identity, different student ID. Okay, that's why it is a unique and we are calling it a primary key. So the student, it is a parent table for the student ID. Correct? Then name, then age, there are other columns. We will not pay attention here. Now come to the another one. The enrollment table. Here there is a student ID. This student ID, it is not its home. Okay, enrollments, it is not a home of student ID. Its home is its parents' houses. This one, student's house, this table, right? So this thing is working here as a foreigner. So in this enrollments, the student ID is working as a foreign key. Okay, then course ID. Course ID is also not belong to this enrollment table. This belong to this course table. So this is also a foreign key. Come back to this course table. In this course table, this course ID is a primary key. Why? Because it is a primary identity of courses. What is the course? What is the ID of that course? Correct? So it is a primary key and it is also unique. two courses cannot contain same course ID. Then the course name and the credit, these are the different things. We will not consider them as a primary or foreign key. Why? Because they might have duplicate values, they might have null values. Okay, now come to the teachers table. In this teachers table, this teacher ID is a primary key. Okay, it is defining the identity. It is a primary key because, and it will not be duplicate. Then the teacher name and the subject name. Now you can see that these tables are interconnected with each other. How? This enrollment table is connected with this student table. This enrollment table is connected with this student table. This enrollment table is connected with this course table. This enrollment table is connected with this teachers table. Fine. How? Because this enrollment table is not connected with this teachers table because there is no teacher ID here. Okay, so this enrollment table is connected with the students table and the courses table, and it is absolutely different table. It is not connected currently with any of these table. Okay, fine. So what should be the sequence of creating the table? So first of all, we will create all those tables that have only primary key. All those tables that have only primary key, no foreign key. So first of all, we will create either students or courses table because they have only primary key. Okay. So first of all, what we can create? We can create student table or course table. Then what table we can create? We can create the table that contain the foreign key. So then we will create this enrollment table. And you will see what about this teachers table. So here, this table, this teachers table is not related. It is absolutely, what to say, unrelated. It is not related with any of them. These teachers might be of different school even. Okay, this teachers table doesn't belong to your school office data. Okay, they might belong to different school. So firstly, we need to connect this teacher table with these two tables, these three tables. Okay, what we can do, we can either put here teacher ID, or we can put here teacher ID, or we can put here teacher ID. Then we can say, okay, these all four are interconnected with each other. I hope it is clear. If we connect these teachers with this student table, suppose there we have written teacher ID. Now, can you tell me what should be the correct sequence? Now, what should be the sequence? So now, what is the rule? We firstly create those tables that have only primary key. We firstly create those tables that have only primary key. So what is the table? Which table have only primary key? This is the table. It has only primary key. Okay. So first of all, we will create course table. After that, this teachers table has only primary key. So we'll create the teachers table. Okay. Now, which table has only primary key? So no tables. Now we are left with these two tables, student table and the enrollment table. Now, in this student table, there is one primary key and one foreign key. So we will create this table, student table, and at last we will create this enrollment table. Why? Because enrollment table contains student ID, course ID. So student ID is also registered in a database and course ID is also registered in a database. So this will be the correct sequence. I hope it is clear, guys. Now the golden rule for the primary key. So it must be unique. Two rows cannot contain same ID, right? It must not be null. Okay, it cannot contain null value. And it should never change. Like student name can be changed, student city can be changed. Sometimes name also change, not a big deal. And student city can also be changed. Okay, but student ID, that we cannot change. In any case, that we cannot change. Right? So it must be unique. It shouldn't be null, and it shouldn't change. It should never change. Right? So what we have seen. We have seen how the raw data and clean data works, how to create database, the analogy of database with the covered system. Then we have seen how to create tables, different tables. Okay, while creating the tables, there is a sequence that we have to keep in our mind, and how to check the sequence. For that we need the ER diagram, and in ER diagram we need to basically see the primary keys and the secondary key. So the sequence depends on which table has only primary key. We will prioritize them firstly, then after that we will see which have only primary key and foreign key. Then we will prioritize only foreign keys tables. Basically, whatever column we are registering in a table, that column should be registered first. Okay, if it contains the foreign key, if this table is about the foreign key table. Okay, suppose this is our enrollment table and this is a student table. So here teacher's ID is also a foreign key, and here these two also foreign key. So we have to see which one is registered already. So here student ID is not registered. Okay, so firstly we have to register this table. If it is registered, then we can create this enrollment table. I hope it is clear. And then at last we have seen the golden rules of a good primary key, which is unique, not null, and should never change. So now let's understand the relationship. So basically we have to study about one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, and many-to-many relationship. This means we have to, two tables are asking questions to each other. The tables that have primary key and the secondary key. If we talk about these two tables, this table has a primary key, user ID, and this primary key is behaving as a foreign key here. Okay, and the primary key of this table is profile ID. Alright, so now tell me, can one user have so many profiles? Can one user have so many profiles? No. So if there is one user ID, that will contain only one profile ID. Okay, एक user की एक ही profile होगी. One user has only one profile. So that's why one user ID will be one profile ID only. Will have one profile ID only. So this is called one-to-one relationship. Okay. Now let's see one-to-many relationship. For that, let's see the example of this one, which is user and orders. Now here what? Here this is again primary key, and in this orders table, this user ID converts to the foreign key. And what is the primary key for this table? So this is the primary key. Now again user ID is asking, can one user ID have so many order ID? Means, can one user take place many orders? Of course. One user ID can have so many order IDs on different dates, on different days, or on the same day even. Okay. Being a user, we place so many orders, so we generated so many order IDs. But we are only one user. So that's why it will be called as one-to-many. One user, but many order IDs. Okay. Now the example of many-to-many. For that, we can take example of order items and the product table. Okay, here you can see that it is order ID. Here it is a foreign key. Okay, but in this table, this is a primary key, and this primary key is working here as a foreign key. Okay, so this primary key, this product ID is asking that can one product ID have so many order IDs? Can one product ID have so many order IDs? Of course. Now reverse it. Can one order ID have so many product IDs? Of course. See the example. Suppose the product, one product is pizza, one product is burger. Okay, and one more product, which is momos. Fine. Now this product ID 01, 02, 03. Okay. So one person came, and the generated order ID is A00B. Suppose this is the order ID. So this order ID can contain all these products or not? They definitely can contain, right? Okay. So now we have to reverse it. Suppose this pizza, which is product ID 01, it can be contained by so many order IDs. Pizza must be taken by order A00B, order A00C, order A00D. So many orders can be done for the same product. And in a single order ID, so many products can be considered. So many products can be ordered. So that's why they are reversible. One product can have so many order ID, one order ID can have so many products ID. So it is called as many to many. Okay, if I have one, you must also have one. It is one-on-one relationship. If I have one, but you can have many, it is one to many. If we both can have many, then it is many to many relationship. I hope it is clear till here, guys. Okay. So now, before moving ahead, it's our time to see our questions of today's. So today you will have to give the answers of these two questions. What happens if we don't create a database? You will have to give the answer in your own word. Okay, in your own word. It can be any layman language, but it should be in your own word. So what happens if we don't create a database? And second question is, you have to tell the benefits of ER diagram in your own word. Okay. So your first question is, what happens if we don't create a database? Second is, what are the benefits of creating ER diagram? So I hope it is clear, guys. This is all our module 1. I know it is a bit lengthy for you. Being a beginner, it is a bit lengthy. After some time, it will be very easy for you. Now, it is not completed. Hold on, it is not completed. So we have studied these things: raw data, clean data, creating database, then creating tables, ER diagram, relationships between the tables, means one to one, one to many, many to many, and the rules of the good primary key. Now let's quickly see how to create tables inside the MySQL workbench. What is the syntax to create a table? So this is basically a syntax, means you will simply have to write in English, create table. Okay, create table, then the name of your table, and then starting of this parenthesis, this is called as parenthesis bracket, and then you have to give the name of your first column, the data type of that column, comma, second column name, the data type of that column, third column, the data type of that column. So we will create basically two tables, and we will see how to create a table. See, suppose we will create course table firstly. Okay, in this course table there is course ID, course name, and the duration. So let me open MySQL workbench. Okay, we will create all these tables inside this DataPencil DB. Okay, there are so many databases you can see. DataPencil, then this DP database, then this system database. In which database we are going to work? We have to instruct SQL, right? So for that we will use DataPencil. This database we are going to use. So now we will select it and we will run it from here. Now you can see it is in the bold now. It means whatever work we will do, it will register in this DataPencil database. So it's time to create the table. How can we create it? Firstly, we have to write create and then table. Now we will have to give the name of our table. So the name was course table. Okay, then the beginning of this parenthesis. Now one by one we will give the name of the column, data type of the column, and the identity, whether it's primary key, foreign key, or nothing. So we will firstly write the course ID. Okay, for now, as you don't know what is data type, so we will consider everything under varchar only. Okay, now consider this is a varchar. And then we have to give the limit also, like how many characters it contains. So if it contains 20 characters, then we can give the maximum limit, it is 20. Now the course ID was the primary key because it is the main identity. So we will write here primary key. Okay, comma. Now the time of second column. The second was the course name. Okay, course name. It is also varchar we are taking. And we will get to know the idea of the data types, and we will use the correct data type. So course name is also a varchar, but it is neither a primary key nor a foreign. So we will keep it as it is. Now the next one was the duration. Duration also varchar for now we are taking. So it is also 20, let's take. And then the closing of this parenthesis and the semicolon. Okay, that's all done. We have written create table, the name of the table which is course. Then all the columns, course ID, course name, and the duration, their data types. For now we have taken varchar for all, and then the identity, means it is a primary key or not. It was primary key, so we have written. They were not, so we haven't written anything. If any of them were foreign key, then we will have to mention the foreign key also. But the method of mentioning foreign key is little different, so we will see them. Now we have to select all these words and then simply run. At last here you will see it is written create table, 0 rows affected. Now after refreshing from here, you will see your course table is created. Okay, once you will click on this icon, you can see your course table is here. Nothing, no values are here because we haven't inserted. We will know how to insert the values as well. Okay, let's create one more table. So for that we need to write create table. This time we will create which table? Okay, let's create teachers table. So teachers, and then opening of parenthesis, and then teachers ID. Now it's the data type. So I am copying this varchar because we are using this repeatedly. So this is also varchar, and in teachers table, this teacher ID is a primary key. So it is a primary key. We have to give the space here. Now, comma, the second one is the second the second column was the teacher name. Okay, and it is also varchar, comma, anything else? Suppose these are the two columns only. So now, close this parenthesis and simply give the semicolon and select everything and then run. After running, you can see here, create table teacher, 0 row affected. At the very last, you can see. Now again, refresh it and open the tables. Here you can see your teachers table is also here now. And 2 rows you have created. So you can see the 2 columns, teacher ID and the teacher name. So this is just a demo. Later on, we will see everything in more detail, and in mini projects way, we will see them in the middle of the course. We will create one mini project. There we will see everything. Okay, this is it for this module, guys. Okay, we have covered these things. All these things we have covered right now. Tomorrow we will see different topics and it will be very interesting. So take care and give your answers in the comment box. After module 3, there will be one proficiency round, means a test that you will have to clear. So prepare well, and everything will be asked from the video. You have to simply watch the video because all questions, whatever questions are asked there, everything I taught already. So just study well, guys. Okay. See you tomorrow with next module, module 2. So keep practicing. Bye bye. Take care.